world. A world touched by magic.
The great Ian McShane makes everything sound better, but you're gonna have to deal with my voice as I break down the Dragon's Dogma 2 news of the day. But fret not, I'll forgo my usual video style and mix him in where I can. He does a wonderful job explaining the story's beginnings, how you're the Arisen and that a dragon
stole their heart.
But this isn't a love story, this is a story about fulfilling your destiny. So to do that, you'll need help from pawns. Yes, I know how that sounds. You can see how powerful the character creator is, with each pawn visually looking different not only with their looks, but the gear they have on. This one has some extreme detail, just look at the embroidery. Also notice her lips, they seem particularly big. They're actually bigger than you can make in the character creator right now, at least with most templates. Seems you have to really play around. If nothing else, this video has shown off a variety of items and gear in the game.
I hope you slept well, Master.
Any sleep not being attacked by a monster is good sleep to me. Note she has a more advanced archer outfit on compared to the base, but visually it still retains the feel of archer. Look closely through the footage, you'll notice that the devs have spent extra care making sure the vocations have unique visual styles, so at a glance, you know who is who. The fighter looks especially badass with this dragon scale looking shield at its back. For those thinking the mage and the sorcerer will be stuck wearing dumpy robes, here's an example of where they can start to become a bit more stylish. If you have a more shapely in the right places character, they won't simply look fat for the whole game. Now we've seen the false Arisen before, but I have no doubt we'll have to fight his pawn harem, so be sure to build your own harem so it can be a harem versus harem showdown. So as you know, we have human settlements, the Beastren settlements, and the Elvish settlements in all three parts of the world. Ian mentions that you'll be navigating
through conflicts between species and the complexities of culture, faith, and history in each land.
Based on the game's focus of choice and consequences, I have to imagine you'll be able to take sides in these conflicts, try to mediate, or be sinister. We already know you can create counterfeit items and hand them into quest givers as the real thing, so no doubt you'll be able to manipulate tensions between the races that way too.
The choices the Arisen makes will shape not only their future and that of those with whom they interact, but the future of the world itself.
So there you have it, you can shape the future of the world with your choices. They really aren't holding back when selling that point, are they? They got the great Ian McShane to say it, they've shown off quests where what you do matters, so I have to hold on to hope that it's all true. Here we see the Archer's Manifold Shot, an upgrade to Barrage Shot which unleashes a volley of arrows at the Cyclops, the first hitting its eye and staggering it. I wonder if that's a weak point. Here we see the Thief's Ensnare skill being used to bring a Saurian close for a huge finishing move that you can execute by using your strong attack on a stunned or low health enemy. This is more disgusting the more I look at it, and I had to edit this moment over and over, so make sure you and your pawns stick together in fights and avoid its drop kicks. Here's an example of enemy variety. We see some Saurians, but these ones are different. They look like they have some kind of skin problem, maybe a fungal infection, but who knows. This player did what Asmongold could never do. They chopped off its tail. It must have taken some extreme level of skill. I'm sad we don't get to see this Cyclops throw you half a mile since it cuts away, but it goes without saying that you don't want to be caught by its grab. Remember, fall damage kills you easily, and if you land in deep water during combat, it's GG as well. If your pawns die, they're gone, so monsters will be dangerous if you're not ready or coordinated. Also note how I said the Cyclops' weak point is its eye. Well, this armored one obviously blocks that, so there will be no stunning this bad boy easily. He has crotch and eye armor, so you know the eye is of equal value. Here's another look at the Thief's Ensnare ability that can be used to great effect on annoying flying enemies. The warrior uses Airwood Slash to hit one, but I foresee this being harder to land than they show, and limited as flying enemies aren't going to be only 2 meters off the ground at all times. We've seen goblins ambushing the player from bushes before, but here you see them charging out at you in ambush by using terrain. They hunt in packs and will pop out of places as you go around corners or reach set pieces. They'll blow their horn once you're sighted, summoning more enemies to their cause. Here we see a giant golem. These are magic resistant, so you'll need to physically remove their weak points, the magical charms on their bodies, with physical damage, so be sure to have a balanced team. Now we see that nighttime is no joke. Not only will visibility be low, but ghost skeletons and undead will rise. I was surprised in a good way that there will be zombie hordes that come at you. Zombies have a lot of toughness and take a bit longer to take down than your typical humanoid-sized enemy, but are slow. A horde of them will require AoE skills or you'll simply be overwhelmed. It seems the game will constantly check that you have a balanced team or you'll wipe out if you don't. Here we see the warrior on a drake's back. Yes, this is a drake. Unlike what literally every single journalist who has played this game says. The dragon is the giant calamity, one you'll most likely fight at the end. Drakes are tiny in comparison and they are a family member of the dragon. They'll talk to you during the fight and cast spells. They're deadly but they can be killed. We see here the warrior using a massive charged up blow to stun the beast. Then we see a minotaur. I refuse to say minotaur.
The Minotaur's trampling hooves.
They're not as big as some enemies, but they're extremely quick and taking hits from them will send you flying. We have no details on the Medusa fight yet, but it can't be easy considering it turned these men to stone with a gaze, and it didn't require them to look at it. You probably have to avoid where the red beam gaze goes or be petrified, which might take party members charging a button press on you to get you out of. Or maybe you're just out of the fight for good, who knows. The Doulahan has been teased before, but it truly looks like a hard fight. Here we see the Chimera fight once again. Your pawns seem to be invaluable. The thief knows where and how to use the Helm Splitter skill in order to strike at the vulnerable goat head and get on top of the beast in one swoop. The player then uses shield summons to taunt the beast to him, which lets the pawns do their thing on top of the Chimera, or the Chimera might just have thrown them off. This is very clever. Here we see a new earth-based skill from the sorcerer that seems to be effective at staggering the Minotaur. Remember, when a monster is focusing all of their weight on one leg, you can stagger the beast by attacking that leg, so this seems to strike everywhere on the ground, which makes that easier to do. And that's everything we have to show off. Let me end with this, an old interview from the devs that explains their philosophy in making combat difficult but not controller throwing worthy. Be sure to sub, so many of you aren't, and I gotta bump up the numbers out of spite, so that's gotta be a good enough reason, right? Anyway, enjoy.
中身に関しては僕いつもそのチームのメンバーに言ってるのは、プレイヤーがやられましたと、攻撃食らいました、死にましたっていう時にコントローラー投げるのはあかんと。それはゲームの作りが悪いから俺のせいじゃなくてゲームのせいでこいつが死んだんやっていうことをユーザーが感じてるんでしょ。それはあかんでと。ゲームオーバーになった時プレイヤーがダメージ受けた時にバーンと自分でなんやねんって自分に責任があるって思わせるようにしなきゃあかんっていうのがこだわりで、それってまあいろいろここは細かいノウハウがあるんですけど、そういうふうに感じるようにいろんな判定とか、当たりのつけ方とか大きさとかいうのを